Man, what's going on, y'all? It's a special one today. This is a special one. Uh, let's see something. Let's see. Uh-huh. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Mm, 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 mm. Dwayne Johnson, what's the word? What's going on with you? Hey, Derrick, if you in here already, click that link. Click that link for me, Derrick, if you already in here. Chris, what's going on with you, boss? How you feeling? Yeah, man, Bears trying to come up, experience some comeuppance in the world. So I'm glad about that. Hopefully I have something to cheer for this season, and I can be a little bit more enthusiastic about the football season that is coming. Peace from Las Vegas. Your grandpa from Natchez. What's going on? Shout out to Mississippi. Marvin, what's up with y'all, man? What's going on, man? What's going on? Hey, Derrick, if you in here, let's see if Derrick clicked it. Let's see. Derrick, if you in here, let me know you in here, bro. Oh, there you go.
What's
Oh,
up?
there
What's
you
up?
go.
Do I
I
need to?
got you in here now.
Y'all need to mute the YouTube? Can you? Is it any reverb?
Yeah, muted.
Bet. We're good now.
Yeah, we straight.
Bet.
Uh, so look, y'all. A lot of times y'all hear me talk when I'm in live on live stream. Y'all hear me talk about my boy Derrick. I met Derrick when I was like a sophomore at Mississippi Valley State University, HBCU located in the Mississippi Delta. It's a being in Mississippi to be specific. Um, and Derrick probably the smartest person I know, honestly. We used to be in college, and Derrick would be in the dorm. We stayed in the same dorm. Derrick would be in the dorm doing math homework. One page, one answer, one question is front and back. Page front, front page one. You do the front page, the back page for one problem. Me and my boy Melvin, who y'all met, we'd be like, Derrick, what the hell? But,
And what's up, Dwayne? What's up, Chris?
oh yeah, he
Y'all,
telling
man.
everybody what's up. Yeah, John. So I'm gonna let a few more people come in. Probably try to see if I get a few more people in.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. But it's my dog though. It's my boy. Um, said she said flat out to you and your friend, Mia. Hey, they be calling me Flex from One on One all the time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So then she laughing. She say, what's going on, Miss A? Applied mathematics, geometry, trigonometry, calculus. Derrick, that's what you took in school?
I've taken all that, man. On the college level, all that. Grad school, I did applied mathematics stuff. So yeah, pretty much all
Got
that.
you. Got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually taught trigonometry and in college algebra when I was a grad student. So
You
yeah,
taught trigonometry and college algebra?
yeah. It was
Got you.
in the second year of my master's program before I got
Okay.
the fellowship. Yeah.
Got you. Okay, so look, we gonna mess around. We gonna start, man.
What's up,
So
Marvin?
so as I mentioned, y'all, Derrick is not Derrick, you tell us where are you from?
Gotcha. All right. So my name is Derrick Jones. I'm from a small town called Midnight, Mississippi, in the Mississippi Delta. Most people have never heard of it. So when I'm going to bigger cities, I always say I'm from Humphreys County, I'm from the Mississippi Delta, because if I tell people where I'm from, they probably never heard of it. So I'm from a small town, Midnight, Mississippi. It's about 100 people. So, small village. In the
Hold
heart
on,
of,
midnight that small?
yeah, it's like less than 100 people. Yep.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Hey, we only got a few blocks, man. A few blocks in cotton fields.
Got you.
A few blocks. Hey, all thing we had is a park, and that's where I used to be at, just hooping.
Got you. That's where you and
Yeah,
Melvin went to go hoop that time.
we met them boys. They whooped up on us, man. Hey, what's
Got
up,
you.
Chris? Yeah, Yazoo City is literally right the next county over. So that's probably like 18 to 20 miles from like where I grew up.
Yazoo City.
Yeah, Yazoo.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it's
So,
about 20 miles out.
okay. So you grew up in Midnight.
Yeah.
What was life like for you in Midnight, Mississippi?
Man, it was, it was under 100 people, so pretty much you knew everybody. Everybody felt like family. Most of our family is from there. You know, most people were just, generational families. Like everybody knew everybody, grandma, great grandma, great granddad. So it was a tight knit community, and everything felt like family mostly. When I was, back in Midnight, I left Midnight when I was 10th grade. But I always say, I never had to have my guard up back home. I had to had it up when I had to go to other places like Valley or other places. But in Mississippi, Midnight, I can just have my guard down and just, be truly who I am, without.
Right.
Yeah, you say, how far is Midnight from Money, Mississippi? So Money, Mississippi is on the north side of Greenwood. So, man, so from Midnight to Belzoni is like 11 miles, 11 miles. From Belzoni to Itabena is probably like 30 miles. Then
Mm.
from Itabena to on the other side of Greenwood is probably another 15 to 20. So it's probably like 60 to 70 miles total, from Money,
Okay.
Mississippi. Yeah, that's what Emmett Till, the Emmett Till story. It was in
Yeah.
that area. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So you mentioned something. Midnight is in the Mississippi Delta.
Yeah.
Can you explain the socioeconomic factors of the Mississippi Delta for real?
Man. Yeah, yeah. So Mississippi, as everybody know, Mississippi is, is deeply Republican and it's really poor area. So most of the, you know, most of it is farming. Most of it working on like these factories. Like we're from Humphreys County. It's the catfish capital of the world. So we have a lot of catfish ponds, a lot of catfish factories, and things like that. So people either worked at the factories or people worked farming. And it was really poor. My dad was a farmer, so I grew up pretty much, farming and stuff like that. Had like pig pens in the back, stuff like that. So real country boy living. So yeah, very poor. Most of the Mississippi Delta is below the poverty line. And the thing about it is, you don't know you're poor until you start comparing yourself to like other people at school and stuff like that. I'm going to school with like one pair of shoes the whole year. I'm getting clowned when I'm older, like 7th, 8th grade. Like, I'm realizing that maybe we don't have it like that. But stuff like that. You didn't realize that you were poor. You just enjoyed the things that you had, enjoy the family. So that's one of the big things in Mississippi. You had that family structure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that really helped. The family and friends were around, and you really don't like feel that you're really poor until you get out and start being exposed to different things, and then you realize, yeah, we were struggling, but we made it, and it didn't feel like struggling because we didn't have anything else compared to because everybody else around us was in the same situation.
Right.
But yeah, like it's a pretty poor area. Like I said, it's under 100 people. In
Yeah.
Humphreys County, it was about 2,000 people in the county. Like when I was in high school and middle school, stuff like that. But now it's dwindling down a bit. A lot of the young people are moving out because there's really no jobs there. Basically, if you're trying to work, it's going to either be farming, work at the K-12 system. That's one of the bigger employees, or some like the catfish ponds or catfish factories, farming fish and stuff like that. So it's no
Right.
like tech related, jobs and stuff there. So you really have to move out. And that's the same thing like for a lot of places in the Mississippi Delta. Mississippi Delta is known for farming. So there's cotton fields, there are corn fields everywhere.
Right.
So you know, that's all you got. I know people who, went to a 4-year college and now working at Walmart because, if you can't really find a job, in your major, in Mississippi because there's such a lack of opportunities in that economic realm if it's
That,
outside of farming.
for sure. For sure. Now we talk about your home life. How many siblings did you have?
Yeah, so we're a pretty big family. So I have 7 brothers and sisters. that by my mom. My dad has some older kids too that live out in Riverside, California. So I think it's 5 of them. So pretty big
Okay,
family. I actually haven't got a chance to meet them. I only met like 2 of them.
got
So
you.
yeah, it was some bad blood there.
I get
So
you.
yeah, I don't know if they want to have anything to do with us or anything, but some of them came through, but others did. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, I have family out in Riverside, man. He's from LA area.
Yeah, yep,
And
LA.
I have
Yep.
family out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was your question again? I kind of got sidetracked.
I
Oh,
was gonna
about the
say
family.
home life. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, home life. So again, my dad was a farmer. My mom, so she worked as a daycare, like person in daycare, help raising kids, and also she had a job as a janitor. So she did the daycare, then she did the janitor as I got like older in high school and stuff like that, and into
Right.
college. So we were really poor, man, but we really didn't know it. We had a garden and stuff like that, so we had resources, but financially that money it wasn't there. So
Yeah.
we ate, but we didn't have like money to like buy new shoes and buy new clothes because we were 8 kids, 8 kids.
Right. It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. So yeah, we don't have much, and I'm 6 out of the 8. So the twins are under me, my brother and sister. I think you met. I don't know if you met them or
Yeah.
not. You
Yeah.
met my younger brother. You didn't meet my youngest sister.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't at the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So we're really poor, small family. I mean, pretty big family. So yeah.
Then you, at a young age, your father ended up passing away, right?
Yeah, so my dad passed away when I was 14. So I was in 7th grade when he passed. So
Okay.
he was a smoker. He had lung cancer, and working on the farm and stuff like that, and having all these chemicals and stuff.
Hmm.
And we also lived like right away from a cotton field, cornfield, right in front of our house, less than like 30 yards. So it was really close. So we were surrounded by farmland. So he ingested a lot of those chemicals and stuff, and he was a smoker too. So when they pretty much found the cancer, it was on his lungs. It was the size of a baseball or a grapefruit, and so it was pretty much nothing they could really do. So,
Mm.
so yeah, after that he was pretty much sleeping a lot. So it got really hard on my mom and stuff like that. Trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Luckily, like my the 4 older siblings were like pretty much grown at the time then, so
Yeah.
it helped out a little more. My mom had um just had to take care of the smaller 4. The other 4 was older, but yeah, so he died when I was 14. That was in 2007. So pretty much got hard after that. Ended up in foster care a bit because my mom couldn't make ends meet at times and some more stuff.
Mm.
So I was in foster care. That was 10th grade, I think. 10th grade. Um, and it was from like July to December. So it was a few months. But yeah, I was in foster care. So we had to find another home and stuff like that. So my foster
Got
mom was really cool. She was in midnight too, so I already knew her. So
Okay.
it was really comfortable in that aspect. So me and my brother, my youngest brother, we were with her for from like June, July to like December. And
Okay.
my youngest sister, she was with another family that I didn't know at the time, but my mom knew, and they were really cool, really nice people.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's when we moved to Belzoni, like after my 10th grade year, after the foster care situation, and that's when
Right.
I met Pastor Johnson. Pastor Johnson is my mentor, y'all. If y'all didn't know, I don't know if Malcolm mentioned or not, but yeah, he's my mentor, and he literally stepped in as that father figure, and I can accredit him with my success because he really molded me and mentored me into the man that I am today, and
Hmm.
he really steered me in the right direction, and I'm definitely appreciative of that, man.
Yeah. Listen, it's so crazy because I never knew you was in foster care, and I've been
Yeah,
knowing you for years. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So I'm finding out
I told
information that
Malcolm.
y'all
I told
finding
Malcolm.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like I want to talk about, like, when you come and you get out of foster care, you get back with, first of all, the community aspect of midnight,
yeah.
like that made your foster care experience better than a lot of other kids because you already knew,
Yeah,
the
I went
woman
to
that
foster
you were.
care, and I went to foster care in the area that I already knew. So I'm glad I didn't go to any other place.
Yeah,
I could have went up to Belgium or Isola or whatever. But I stayed in Midnight where the people I knew. So that actually helped. And my outlet was basketball, man. During that time, I remember, I stayed at the basketball court. And that really, helped me to, release some of that mental stress.
yeah,
So I'm a huge basketball fan. I love to play ball. So that was one of the things that helped me to release some of that mental stress. Just stand on the basketball court, while we're going through that situation.
yeah.
So
Now hold on, Derek. Who your favorite basketball player? Because look, I told people I'm
Kobe
surrounded by.
Bryant, man,
Huh?
Kobe Bryant.
Yes, I told you. Look, Kobe. My friends is
Yeah,
Kobe fans. I told you, like
yeah. I don't know what's up with Malcolm, man. He ain't so right.
I'm gonna
And
tell y'all, man. It be this LeBron and Kobe thing that be having folks be, man. You know
I,
what I'm saying? Yeah, but nah, I know you a big Kobe Bryant fan. But no, when I came down to when I came to Mississippi, like I always tell people, poverty in Mississippi looks completely different than poverty in Chicago, right? Like poverty in Chicago, you could not have a lot of money, you could be, poor, but the houses won't look like slums because it's the third largest city in America. So the
I
infrastructure is
remember
still
you were
going to be,
taking me through the hood when I came up there
yeah,
with you.
yeah, and it
It was
won't look
nice.
like
Yeah,
what you think it's supposed to look like because it's the third largest city in America. So the infrastructure is still going to be nice, still going to be built like brick build and stuff like that. But it's just the people in there are very poor. When I went to Mississippi, and I'm talking about like when I was on a train, because I took the Amtrak train going to school,
yeah, yeah.
riding through Greenwood, seeing them houses, like I'm like not even trying to be funny. I'm like people living there. You know what I mean? The houses were dilapidated, like they were like someone looked like they were about to fall apart.
For sure.
Yeah, and so that's when I look like, yo, poverty is a different thing in the
Yeah,
Mississippi Delta. It looks completely different. And that's when I was like, yo, we had to be at least appreciative of the fact that we were in some place that wasn't falling apart, you know what I mean? Or in a shotgun type house.
exactly.
Because you never know you never know until you go to another place and you see
Yeah,
poverty elsewhere and you have something
exactly.
to compare it to. It's like, man,
It's a different story, man. It's like a third world country in certain areas of Mississippi.
yeah.
But people have become used to it, and like it's home for them, man. And and they love it. They love
No,
the peace that comes with like being in those rural areas.
yeah, it's simplistic
Exactly.
living for sure.
Exactly.
Um, I always tell you, like my grandmother, my maternal family, my paternal family is from Mississippi. So like, my grandmother talk about people living in them type of houses, and it becomes normal because you just been there your whole life. Your grandmama and them been there, all your cousins, your uncles, auntie, your father, and them, all of them, they've been there, so they become used to it. But then, my grandmother ended up moving to Chicago in 1960 during the Great Migration, where you saw a lot of black folks from the South
Yeah.
go north to
Exactly.
Chicago and stuff like that, and then they came up during that time period because the jobs were more higher paying jobs were here in Chicago, and
Exactly.
you saw black people relocating here from Mississippi and all of that. Which I've seen video clips of black folks getting on buses or trains going to Chicago or coming back to Mississippi to visit after
Yeah.
they've already relocated and all of that. But yeah, so then you said a significant part of your story at in 10th grade, you end up moving away from Midnight to Belzoni,
Yes.
right? My bad. Phone call coming through. Anyway, yeah. You
Yeah.
end
It
up
got real low.
can you hear me now?
Yeah. It's still real. I think the call's still coming through.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
All right, now the call gets. So yeah, you end up going from Midnight, you end up moving from Midnight to Belzoni. What triggered that move specifically?
Yeah. It was basically the foster care situation. Like you were saying, like the housing condition. It wasn't enough to park. And my mom was like, "We're really poor, so we're just trying to keep things together."
Yeah.
So yeah, so I don't know who called or whatever, but yeah, they came through, did an inspection on the house, saying it wasn't fit. And there was some other stuff going on too, like supposedly this older guy was trying to talk to my younger sister. My younger sister, I was in 10th grade, so she had to be 8th grade at the time. So they're trying to figure out like it was like a sexual assault situation or something like that. So they removed all of us from the house, till they do the investigation. And then, the house wasn't in great condition. And then that situation, happened at midnight. So that's my mom, went to look for other places, and she basically found it in Belzoni and stuff like that. So yeah. So let me respond to Rap God Reloaded. So I'm originally from Midnight, Mississippi. That's a small town in the Mississippi Delta. And my current basketball player that I like to watch is Russell Westbrook, because he has a lot of energy on the court. I know he can't shoot at times, but I just like his energy and I like his fire when he plays. It's similar to Kobe's, that motor, that engine. So that's why I really like to watch him play, because of that energy. So, but I'm a big Laker fan, so I cheer for him when he's on the Nuggets. Like he got that steal last night, won the game for him. I hated it for the Lakers, but I loved it for him. He can still contribute as a veteran player off the bench. So yeah.
Yeah. Then Romero say Mississippi has good blues music.
Oh,
look,
yeah. Oh,
listen. Do y'all know the young people down there be listening to the blues? When I got to Mississippi and I saw the 18-year-old kids vibing out the blues music, I was like, oh no, this is a real thing. This is for real. And then
and everything to it, bro.
Then we start singing the songs. I left home to be with my side piece. Right? Singing them songs and all of that. Like, what is going on?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the culture in Mississippi is something that I think you got to be down there to really feel and to really enjoy for real, man. Because when I came down there, again, Black culture has a lot of similarities in a lot of different regions, but there are differences based upon certain things. When I went to Mississippi and I saw how hype y'all would get for y'all high school homecoming games, that was a different experience for me.
Oh man, it's like a family reunion at homecoming, at
high school homecoming, not college, high school.
Yeah, it's like a family reunion. The football game is we have like the whole week of doing stuff. Then football, that Friday is football, and they have like after parties, and they go into Saturday. It's pretty much like a whole weekend family reunion type thing, bro.
It's
like that at a lot of schools in the Mississippi Delta. Humphreys County, LaFleur, Greenwood, like all of them do have the same vibe. But Humphreys County running things though, so
Hey, look. So I went to a high school homecoming, East Side High School homecoming, Cleveland, Mississippi, Bolivar County, right? That's Bolivar, right?
Yeah.
Cleveland. So I went to a game, high school game. I went to a high school game now. Bruh, they got fireworks at the high school football homecoming game. They selling Kool-Aid pickles. They out there got nachos. They got all type of candy. They got the band getting down in high school. Like the crowd is going crazy. Like I'm talking about people that graduated in 1969 at the game with their high school jacket on. I'm like, this like we at Valley homecoming. Like it felt like we was at our HBCU homecoming in a high school.
It's like there's not many sports teams here in Mississippi, so you got to rally behind someone. So it's most of the time it's the high schools, and then most of the time it's be county based. So like Humphreys County, then they play like Sunflower County or Greenwood County or something like that, or LaFleur County, and it's like more county. So it's like you cheer for that team. And we don't have many teams in Mississippi, so it's always like either those high school teams or those small colleges around the area.
Got you. Yeah. So then when you go to Belzoni though, you are currently at Humphreys County High School. Now I'm gonna say this, y'all. When I was in Mississippi Valley, every kid I know that went to Humphreys County High School were super smart. Like everyone. Like Derrick has a friend that's a couple years older than him, Chartice Jones.
Yeah.
Excellent in math.
Yeah.
Excellent in math. Like, Ryan was
too. He got a PhD in math as well.
Right. So his other homeboy, Chartice, got a PhD in mathematics. I don't think people understand being a young Black man with a PhD in mathematics. that is official. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because most, you got to have a certain type of brilliance to do that in general. And you got to have a certain type of love for math. Because I didn't have it, Derrick. I'm going to be real with
Oh
you.
yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm going to leave this to Derrick and them. I'm like, I didn't have it. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
you had a passion for it. When did your passion for math, when did you see you were good in math
Yeah.
and
Good
have a
question.
passion for it?
Good question. I think that came in like 7th and 8th grade, because so one of the things that they did was we had an issue with like state testing in algebra 1 and stuff like that. And we were brilliant, like, so we had a class like 30 students. We were brilliant in math. So they did an experiment where they put like the smart students, like 30 something students in this class, and they're going to test them in algebra 1. So they're going to skip them up ahead, from pre-algebra straight to algebra 1. So in 8th grade, I got to take algebra 1. So, and I got to take the algebra 1 state test in 8th grade. So that's when I knew like I was pretty good at math, because I got, moved up to that class, took the state test, of course, passed it. And then after that, I was ahead in all my math credits. So, started taking geometry, algebra 2, pre-calculus, all that stuff. And then went up to that dual enrollment. I got to take college algebra in high school, dual enrollment. So I'm like, I'm good at math. I keep going.
Explain dual enrollment for people that don't know what dual enrollment is.
Yeah. So dual enrollment is when you have a local college. We had MDCC, Mississippi Delta Community College, a few miles, from where we are from, like 21 miles. So it's pretty close. So they partner with the local high schools to get high school students college credits, so they'll be ahead of the curve when they're trying to go into college. So I took college algebra and also comprehensive help in high school, so just to get ahead. And I'm glad I did it, because when I went to Valley, after that first year, I was classified as a sophomore. So that's how I got to run for SGA president 2 years in a row, because I was a sophomore my freshman year.
Got you. Okay. Now that makes sense. Now that makes sense. Right. Okay. So, going to, so hold on, my line brothers.
Let me answer a question from 9 Beats. So how do you write a thesis as a mathematician? So for my master's, I did a non-thesis option. For the PhD, I did the dissertation. So thesis is the master version. Dissertation is the PhD version. So basically, I was basically researching like physics type problems, like fluid flow problems, things like that. And I was doing a lot of modeling and simulation of these physical problems that you see in nature. Like, for example, like wind flow, like over an airplane wing, you get that turbulence and stuff like that. So I was basically simulating and modeling that type of stuff for my dissertation. But I did fluid flow stuff. I didn't do any like wind resistant stuff. So it was like a lot of programming and stuff like that to basically get the dissertation. So I got to publish 2 papers during my dissertation. So once you publish the paper, that makes it much easier to graduate. So got published and got out of there. Oh yeah, if you publish, because a publication is peer reviewed by professors and industry experts. So once you get that under your belt, what the teacher's gonna say at school, it's like
you good to go in, right? Okay.
Exactly. So once those publications drop, I was good.
Yeah. So then, okay. So you find out you're really gifted in math. You figure that out. I know you're reading the comments. You figure that out. What leads you to Mississippi Valley State University?
Gotcha. So that's a funny thing. So when I was coming out of high school, I was originally thinking to be a physical therapist or go into medical school. I still wish I would have went into medical school, but I have a great career, great PhD is one of the things for me. But I originally was not planning to go to Mississippi Valley. I wasn't planning to major in math. I was planning to do physical therapy or go into medical school.
Right.
I went to Valley to get those extra credits like I was doing in dual enrollment. So I just want to be ahead of the game. So I went to Valley. first year, that's when I took freshman composition with Miss Washington. So she was my first teacher at Valley.
Hold on, this is in the summertime, right?
It's in the summertime.
Hold on,
So
before you start on Miss Washington, y'all, Miss Barbara J.P. Washington at Mississippi Valley State University did not play.
yeah,
All right. If you come to her class, if you 1 minute late, she's closing that door on you. You ain't coming up in there. You ain't falling asleep in her class. She gonna have you talking proper English where you can. She enunciates every word she speaks.
Oh yeah, and if you're in the door when she closes, she will slam you in the door. So
yeah, she was not playing. You couldn't come to her class in no pajamas, none of that. You got to come in looking like a student. Oh, Ms. Washington did not play.
Did I tell you that story? I think I told Melvin that story.
No, you ain't tell me.
So, it was the summertime, right? I'm coming into class. I had short pants and stuff. I'm a freshman. Coming in, I didn't know anything. I'm coming in with short pants and t-shirts. She was cool with it. But there was this guy, Chris Lewis. Chris Lewis from Greenwood.
Yeah.
He always came in class, with polo, button down, fresh with slacks or like khakis on. I'm like, man, I want to be like that guy, And I was like, from now on, I'm going to dress professional. I'm not going to go to class with no basketball shorts or anything. I'm going to go, presentable, and he influenced me in that way. I don't think I ever told him that. He influenced me to actually be presentable in every class I went to. So shout out to Chris Lewis, man, for that. But
look, my line brother say, I bet she one of the people that pronounce mature as mature. Facts. Listen, when I came, I took her freshman year. She saw me my junior year. She stopped. Oh, Mr. Miller, you have matured, right? I started dying. I was like, what? You have matured. That's how she talked. That's definitely how she talked, man. She's now retired from teaching at the university. But everybody that came through Mississippi Valley, Miss Washington for real. But anyway,
she was a great teacher, man. Very impactful.
Great
I took her for that summer. Oh, we all off subject. Let me go back. So I was in JP Washington's class, and that's when I came in as a freshman. And how I got to Valley is I'm in the game room playing spades. That's one thing about Humphreys County people. We know how to play spades real good. So and we talk a lot of noise. So it's a family thing. So we talk a lot of noise, play a lot of spades. So I'm in the game room, with me. I think it was me and Terrence or me and Duran. We were playing against Timothy Holston, Mr. Holston, that was the SGA advisor, and Ms. Ransom. They OG spade player. They're really good. So we're just playing spades, and you're just talking to them. They were just asking us, what was our plans? Are we planning to go to Valley? What we're gonna do? And I pretty much said I was going to such and such school, majoring in physical therapy and stuff like that. And Mr. Holston, Tim, he asked me, what do you make on the ACT? And I told him the numbers and stuff like that. He was like, come to Mr. Redmond office. We want to talk to you. So I can't, I know Mr. Redmond, he's from Humphreys County. So, I go in his office, he was like, I'm going to this school. I didn't have a scholarship to that school at the time. And he was like, hey, Joan, he'd call everybody by their last name. Hey, Joan, hey, that's probably not the best decision. Then he literally got to the board and like got on the website to that other school and compared the tuition, room and board, and all the other fees to Mississippi Valley's fees. And he was like, okay, either you can pay for this school out of pocket with loans, or you come here with your nice ACT score, and we can give you a full ride scholarship to Mississippi Valley. So you can either have a full ride, or you can pay tuition out of pocket, pay a loan. I was like, okay, I'm cool with math. I never thought about majoring in math. Never until I went into that office. So it was PT or med school. He was like, never thought about math. I was like, okay, I'm pretty good at math. And then when I got in, I accepted the scholarships. I didn't go to the other school. And when I got into those first classrooms, the computer science, classes in the math class. So, the math and computer science departments together. So I took some computer science classes, took some math classes, and fell in love with it, You know,
Yeah.
really had some really good teachers, really motivational teachers. Like Mr. Redman was one of my first college math teachers, and Dr. Bland was my first computer science teacher. And they are rock stars. They are rock
Yeah.
stars, and they're really good at
Miss Constance Brand?
Huh?
Miss
Yeah,
Constance Brand?
yeah. She was my first computer science teacher.
Wow. Rest in peace,
Yeah,
Dr. Bland.
shout out to her. She's amazing, man. She's a rock star. You
Yeah.
know, and how the impact she made at Valley was like, you know, profound. And I would definitely accredit her for getting me to that PhD level. I think I told you or I told Melvin that, you know, she told me if I do the PhD, go straight through. I didn't know what a PhD was. I didn't know what a doctor was. Coming from a small town, we didn't have any PhDs. We didn't have any doctors. She was the first doctor I met, PhD. You know, because I was in her class as a freshman. You know, I figured out what a PhD was, a doctorate was, and like for after that, she was like, you know, if you plan on getting that doctorate, you know, go straight through. And she really motivated me to go ahead and pursue that, you know, to get that doctorate. Because at first I was going to do PT, which is on a doctorate level, or I was going to go to med school, which is doctor level. So it still worked out, you know.
Got you. It all worked out. You stayed committed and stayed focused to the goal, and then you know you fostered that love for math at Mississippi Valley, and you kept pushing. Mississippi Valley has an excellent STEM program.
Yes.
Like the math and science program in Mississippi Valley State is outstanding. Like I would say, a lot of y'all that majored in math and computer science, y'all came out the gate getting great jobs. Like great jobs. I talked about individuals like Roland, Nikayla. A lot of y'all came and were getting great job opportunities.
Roland, he at Walmart Labs. Nikayla worked at NASA, the one in Cali, the Jet Propulsion Lab. You know,
Nikayla do work at NASA. She does.
She switched up now. She at Disney. She at Disney now.
Shout out to Mississippi Valley State, man. Hold on, man.
You know, Josh is also Joshua Bailey. You know, he Valley Computer Science and Math. He worked at John Hopkins. He was working at John Hopkins as well. So so it's a lot of people like doing great things from Valley. You know, even though it's a really small school, we have people who are making, you know, amazing impact. You know,
for sure. So look, you get to Mississippi Valley State. Now you're away from home every day. Did you miss home?
So I was super close to home. You know, it's only like 30 miles away from my hometown. So, you know, I was going home on the weekends and stuff, you know. So I really didn't feel like I was away from home. But it's funny that I was only 30 miles away, but my mind expanded so much because once you get into college, it's like a culture shock because there are so many different people from so many walks of life, so many cultures. And you meet people from all over the world just in a small campus. And like, I feel like my mind was just, you know, expanding to the new possibilities of like, you know, the Mississippi Delta isn't all there, you know, is to, you know, the world. There's so many other things and opportunities. Did I participate in Chicken Wednesdays? Man, of course. Man, hey, Chicken Wednesday at the HBCU is like a fashion show. So everybody went to the cafeteria on Chicken Wednesday, and you come in there clean because like it's a fashion show. So
Derrick, I told them, me and Melvin used to be in a room getting our Chicken Wednesday fits together. I'm talking about so at Mississippi Valley, Hemp was cutting people we had a barber that was cutting people in the student union, right?
Yeah.
I go get cut by Hemp. I make sure my fit clean. I got it laid out the day before. Everybody you know are gonna be in it. The girl you got a crush on, she gonna be in the cafeteria on Chicken Wednesday. That's for sure. Every girl you think fine, she up in there. You got to make sure you come presentable. The teachers would be in line for the chicken. I'm talking about every teacher on campus. Miss Vaughn, them come up in there. All the math and science teachers, the Indian and Asian teachers, they getting that fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, cornbread, greens. They got black eyed peas up in there.
Soul food up in there, boy. Soul food.
Chicken is amazing. That chicken be fire too, boy.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about fried hard. You know.
Hey, we said, wish the chicken hitting that hard. Listen, chicken hitting harder than Mike Tyson, Clive. I wish I was. I listen. If I'm lying, then I'm flying. And as you can see, my feet are firmly cemented to the ground. So I'm telling y'all the truth.
Hey, them lines used to be long, boy.
Listen, look, line long as like I'm talking about long. You got to go get that piece of chicken. I put my plate down, get right back in line. Give me another piece of chicken. Give me some more chicken.
Hey, the crazy thing about it, I like after my first and second year, I literally changed my schedule to not have an 11 o'clock class, so I can actually go to the cafeteria on Chicken Wednesdays early. So
hold on, wait a minute. Derrick, that happened to me. I ain't having 11 o'clock class. This is like my junior year. What? I'm up in the cab early. You first one in the door.
Right.
You beating everybody up in there now. You get to keep getting some more chicken now. You like, hold on, wait a minute. You get your first plate, sit it down. We'll get your second plate, sit it down. You get you something to drink. Right. Oh, we in here. Hey, I forgot to talk about that aspect of trying to make sure you don't got no class at 11 o'clock when the cafeteria open, so you can be one of the first ones in there to get that chicken. Exactly. For real.
Exactly. Gotta stay on it.
Hey, so right, you get to Mississippi Valley, and you're experiencing and not y'all dancing in there with the double plates like what? Got 2 plates in there, losing your mind. You got that good chicken in your hand.
Right.
So when you get to Mississippi Valley, you start meeting different people. Now, Derrick, I met you sophomore year through a close friend of yours, Dorian Shanklin.
Right.
Now, me and Dorian were both communications majors. Dorian is a fool. I got to get Dorian on here.
Oh, yeah.
I will be around Dorian. He be cracking jokes and talking to people like he been knowing them his whole life. He would talk to anybody like he been knowing them forever. Right? Right? So I think one day I was hanging with him. You came around. Then me, you, him, and Chartice was to go eat at some restaurant or something. And then that's how me and
Belzoni?
Huh?
The one in Belzoni? The restaurant in Belzoni? It was like
it wasn't in Belzoni, I don't think.
Okay.
It might have been in Green. I don't know. Was it? I'm trying to remember.
What kind of food
did we go? I forgot what we went to. But I know we went to go eat. Me, you, him, Chartice. And then we was just kicking it. And then after that, I'm like, oh, Derrick, cool. After that, me and you started kicking it. Then me and Melvin, because Melvin was around with me. Then we all started kicking it together. And we all just started hanging together after that. I will say this, y'all. I'm jumping ahead, but I credit Derrick Jones for me becoming Mr. Mississippi Valley State University. The day I was supposed to put in my hours, community service hours, because to be Mr. Mississippi Valley State, you have to have like a certain amount of community service hours, so on and so forth. I was away at University of Mississippi, aka Ole Miss, right? I was there for like their media day with the department, with the communications department. We all went to go to Ole Miss for the day. And I wasn't around to submit my hours. I told Derrick, no, Derrick, you told me they were looking for my hours. Yeah. You say, I'm going to get your hours over there to get it turned in. My dog, Derrick Jones, went to go turn my hours in for me so I could be Mr. NVSU, man. I always say, Derrick.
I remember that. That's crazy.
You remember it?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? Man, bro, you called me and said, okay, you like, okay, bro, I'm finna go get your hours turned in for you. Because Ole Miss, we hours away from the school. I'm like, I ain't finna get back in time, Derrick. You like, all right, I'm finna go get your stuff turned.
I remember that I went up there.
Yeah. You was like, I'm finna go turn it in for you. I say, Derrick, what, boy? Derrick, you need something? I'm coming through. Because Derrick made sure I got my hours in.
Yeah, we had to go through and like get them stamped or something, right? Like
you did. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Because the communication department, the radio station and TV station had my hours.
Yeah.
The stuff that and Ms. Young them did. So you had to go get it stamped and then get it submitted because I didn't have them things stamped or nothing. Right. I just thought they could just check it with the communication department. I didn't know you had to get it actually like turned in or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So you went and did that for me. So hey, and when you're Mr. Mississippi Valley State, as well as Mr. When you're SGA president. Hold on, I'm going too fast.
Yeah.
Going too fast.
Let me answer one of Clive questions. He said, state cafeteria was cool, but it wasn't like ours. So I went to Mississippi State for grad school. So
no, he talking about Arkansas State. This is my LV.
Okay,
My
okay.
linebacker. He went to
Okay.
Arkansas State with me. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever somebody say state, I automatically assume Mississippi State. So
Yeah.
Mississippi.
Yeah. But I'm gonna say this: Arkansas State cafeteria stayed open late. So
Yeah.
that was the clutch part about it. Valley cafeteria closed 7 o'clock. It's over with.
Yeah, 7. I think 7. I think
There, Arkansas State's calf was open to like 9 o'clock, like 9:29 something. It opened at 9 o'clock.
That's clutch.
Yeah. So I used to get out of night class and go straight to the cafeteria when I was at Arkansas State.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. 7 p.m. 5, man. We was a small school, man. We ain't have resources like that.
HBCU cafeterias tend to close early though, like that. Like most HBCU cafeterias close at like 7 p.m. We still hungry, right?
Hey,
So,
you have to get some, especially like on like the Saturdays, go to brunch then lunch. So you got to get enough for the rest of the night,
Listen, look, y'all. So when I went to Mississippi, this is the first time in my life I ever ate food from a gas station. I don't do that.
Oh man.
I don't do that. But in Mississippi, them black folks in there, black grandmas and aunties back there cooking that chicken at Double Quick at the gas station called Double Quick. Double Quick would have a 5-piece special in there.
Yeah.
You get 5 pieces of chicken. I give me a small mashed potatoes and gravy for like $5.60-something. I ain't lying. I used to be when the cafeteria was closed, go get that 5-piece special from the gas station from Double Quick across the highway. What?
Oh yeah, hey, those gas stations, like all throughout Mississippi, you can get all types of food from a gas station or convenience store. It's crazy like that. You can get all type of soul food, all type of like Chinese food, whatever, at these gas stations, bro. And like, that was our restaurants, from really small places.
Marvin said I did communications as my shout out to you, Marvin, communication major, man.
Oh, yeah.
All love, man. We made it happen in there, man. For sure. I had a lot of fun in my communication field. Said, bro, this gas station down the street had some chicken that looked farted off, but you had money mustard them pieces there. Listen, so the gas station I'm talking about, Double Quick, would sell okra. They had chicken on a stick. They had potato wedges in there. They got mashed potatoes and gravy.
Bread.
What they had? My dad came down there when I got crowned Mr. Valley. He came down there. He was eating livers and stuff from the gas station. I don't like no liver though. I ain't eating that.
Yeah, it's nasty. That's nasty, bro.
My daddy, the old country stuff come up out of him with that. But but no though. So yeah, me and you meet. We kicking it. We hanging at Valley. All of that. And eventually, junior year, you become SGA president.
Yeah.
What made you want to run for that?
Man, that's wild. So originally, I never thought about stuff like this. Like when I was in high school, I would never run. I had an opportunity to run for Mr. High School, Mr. ACHS. I didn't run. I think because of that confidence thing, because coming out of foster care, my mom didn't have much money, so why would I run for a position that's gonna cost money? So I was a bit like shy and like reserved and stuff like that. Maybe because of that confidence thing, growing up without a father figure and stuff like that. But when I went to Valley, I started deciding to like open up more, to explore new things. And the first position I held was like vice president or secretary of like the freshman class or something like that. Nobody else ran, so it was like unopposed. Right. Then I jumped into like, being involved, like became a MVSU ambassador. So I was really like getting that community service in, getting in good with all the organizations on campus and stuff like that. Just getting a feel for, that leadership, role at Valley. And then, like I said earlier, I was ahead of the curve with those credits. So I'm coming in to Valley, almost a sophomore. And I was a sophomore that second semester freshman year. So I'm like super ahead of the curve. So when that second year hit, I was like blended between a sophomore and junior with the credit hours.
You're right. So
I was able to apply for SJ president because you need to be a junior, and I had enough hours to be classified as a junior. So that's how I, jumped into that. And, I didn't have like a desire initially. Then like I was cool with Marvin because Marvin was also a math major.
Right.
He math education, but math is the same. We're in the same classes. So like, I'm like right there with Marvin all the time, just talking to him and stuff like that. He was SJ president for 2 years as well. So like I'm right behind him, you know, and some of the other SJ presidents, Jamaris, those guys, they were also math majors. So it's like a theme, like math majors ran for SJ president, you know.
Right.
So like he did it, Jamaris did it, then you know, Marvin did it, then I did it. So it's
Right.
like all math majors. So that's like, okay, they're doing it, you know, I can do it too, you know, and I really came out of that shell, you know, to become SJ president because, you know, when I was in high school, you know, I was more of a recluse, wasn't like all outgoing and stuff. But when I
Right.
went to Valley, you know, I really began to find myself, you know, and I
Hmm.
think that's, you know, helped out with from like Pastor Johnson, you know, as my mentor, you know, just steering me in the right direction, becoming a better man, you know, finding my voice and things like that. So I'm
Yeah.
very appreciative of him in that regard. You know, I just applied. I think I was running against. I shouldn't say his name on camera, but I was running against one of your. Well, he's a noob, so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, runners against him. You know,
I remember.
I didn't think I had a chance, bro. I didn't because like you know he popular on campus. You know he a noob. You know, but I think that played against him actually because when I ran, you know the alphas, you know they had my back because they didn't want a nuke to win. So
Right.
I didn't play anything. So like them guys had my back. You know, I was cool with them because they were in our dorm. So I hung out with like those alpha guys a whole lot. So they had
No.
my back. So so they had my back, like helping me campaign and stuff, you know, and I was doing grassroots stuff. Dude, I went to every dorm on campus, knocked on every door, talking to
Yeah.
people. And how I won was from the freshman class. Cause you know they count like they do the votes from freshman all the way up to senior.
Right.
I had a big lead from the freshman class, and I was like, "There's no catching, no
Yeah.
catching." So
But listen, your slogan and stuff caught on because I was in
just
the
move
we was in the
forward.
auditorium. Me and Melvin in the back were like the football players,
Yeah, yeah. The
smoking
football
them,
players
doing
help me out
the
too.
acting
Yeah,
fool. They in the back, just move forward, right?
yeah, yeah.
we 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 was in there, just move forward. That was Derrick's little slogan. Just
Yeah.
move forward, right? We in there
Yeah.
repeating Derrick.
Hey, what's crazy about that? What crazy about that whole thing was, you know, we did work study, like poor students didn't have much, like you know, they could get like the work study first. So I was one of the ones to get work study, you know,
Right,
first. And the work study I worked for was another lady from Humphreys County, you know, from my hometown. She was
right.
my one of my best friends from high school mother. So I knew her, you know, even like coming up through. She was like head of HR, Miss Hersey.
Okay.
So I was working under her as like a clerical person, like sorting papers and filing applications in like the bins and shredding them once they got too old, the applications, you know, with the people
Right.
personal information on it. So I was like shredding it. And I told her I was planning to run for SGA president, right? And she helped me write that speech. She came up with the slogan. She
For
said,
real.
keep reading it because people are gonna get, you know, get hipped on it. Because I start after every like thing I said, I just said just move forward. Then after I
Right.
said it a few times, people in the crowd started doing it. And it was the football player and the guy at the back. But you know, it caught on. Like
It did. It
yeah,
did. It caught on like crazy. So look, when you SGA president, what do they give you? What are the perks of being SGA
yeah,
president?
yeah. So on top of the scholarship, so basically what they do is so you know you have that special room. So they give you a special room just like they give Mr. Valley. So you got a
Yeah.
special room that SGA presidents get. I wish I got a name parking space, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't have a car to the second year. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we got the free room and board, and free tuition. So they basically zero out your account as student body president. So whatever
Yeah.
tuition, they zero it out. I had a scholarship on top of that. And I had an internship on top of that. They gave a scholarship. So I had crazy money coming into my junior senior year. So
Right. Yeah.
because like I did the internship, I think it was like 6,500 on the summer. And they gave a $4,000 scholarship on top of me being SU president, where I didn't have to pay any tuition on my board. And mind you, I had the scholarship from the math department.
Right.
So like at some point they were like, I'll get too much. So they pretty much like lowered lowered the math and science scholarships because they were like, it was just too much, because you only get a certain amount. You can only get a certain amount, with the
Yeah.
FAFSA. So they had to basically lower that. So I was doing pretty good. Yeah, that was in 2013, not 2011.
Yeah.
So that was,
Now
yeah.
you saying you were balling like Derrick Rose when D
Oh, in
Rose won
2000,
MVP
oh,
in
oh yeah.
2011.
Hey,
Yeah.
2013 to 15, my MVP season, man.
Hey, look, you was getting that bag around that
Yeah,
mom, man. Hold
yeah.
on.
Hey, but that
Yeah.
was a
So yeah,
blessing.
we all had our own suite to ourselves,
Yeah,
like a whole room to yourself. You had a
yeah,
queen size bed in yours too, right?
yeah. They put a queen size in there. Because
Yeah.
they were renovating one of the dorm because some of the issues with the girls dorm, in the Horton, some of the issues
Yeah.
with this, I had to switch the girls to Stewart, so they gave me a room in New Men dorm.
Right.
You
Right.
need the stuff over. So yeah, I was in there.
Yep. And so then you go and you win the second year. You win you SGA president 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So now you set, you chilling out really for the most
Yeah.
part. Then
Not
they
true.
last
Hey,
year.
it was stressful being SGA president, man. You had to attend president meetings. You had to go to the IHL board. The IHL is the Institution of Higher Learning. That's like the governing body for all the colleges in Mississippi. So I had to go
You're
to
right.
those meetings and like represent the school, and talk and go to legislators and like try to campaign for more money and stuff like that. So, there's a lot of work into it. So, and I really appreciated it because I got to learn a lot. And I think you went to one of those things. You went to like the Green and White Day, but we had a separate one to like
Yeah.
lobby to legislators for the school to get more funding and try to get pay raises for the teachers and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So like for me and Derrick's position was different. I was
yeah,
used as like a face of the university. Derrick was a extended face, but Derrick was doing the behind the scenes work. Like he
yeah,
had to be doing ground, like he had to hit the ground running, doing a
yeah,
lot of that behind the closed doors that I didn't necessarily have to do. What they wanted me to do was come to like all enrollment type things that would help enrollment, like high school day. I got to be present there. I got to
yeah,
get certain speeches for certain stuff to help with recruitment, especially due to the fact that like I wasn't from the Mississippi Delta, I was from Chicago. So, that would be helpful me talk about my experience coming from another state and coming to Valley, all of that. And then, I would be in parades and so on and so forth. But Derrick was doing stuff behind closed doors. Matter of
yeah.
fact, because we gonna talk about it. Dr. Bynum, we got Dr. Bynum to give us $1,000 a piece.
Oh yeah, we worked on that.
Look,
Yeah,
so
so
the school president gave me, Derrick, and Miss Mississippi Valley State $1,000 a piece, so we can get a new wardrobe, get
yeah,
fly, and all that type of stuff
he
for
helped with the
school.
wardrobe, get new suits, get new shoes and stuff like that to represent. Hey,
We was
that
in there suited and booted, boy. Hold
oh
on.
yeah. Oh yeah,
And I went to go buy me some Timberland boots with the money too. I ain't gonna lie.
oh man, using school funds, man.
Yeah, so was. And I bought me a nice little starter jacket. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh man.
But no, though. Speaking about you and the SGA president, a lot of times I find myself having to defend Mississippi Valley State as far as like financially, so
Yeah.
on and so forth, right? Because we don't have the same resources as a Jackson State or Alcorn State University.
Right.
And I explain to people like why we may not have certain things that they have,
Right.
Particularly the youth of Mississippi Valley State University. MVSU is the youngest school in the SWAC, 1950. Right. My father is 5 years younger than the institution I graduated from, which is mind-boggling when you think about that, right? Then we're the smallest school in the SWAC. You know what I mean? So explain. Hold on, you said I was gonna ask, is it like what Ed Reed saw at Bethune-Cookman? I don't remember what he said he saw. But I will say that, I mean, compared to other people's years, Mississippi Valley State looked great compared to years that other people came in the early stages of Valley.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and now Valley looks really good. When I'm seeing, like, they look great.
They done a lot of renovation projects. So.
Yeah, a lot of renovation. So explain, if you can, the financial disparity between NVSU and Jackson State and Alcorn State?
Yeah, so there are a couple things that like makes it difficult for Mississippi Valley
Mm-hmm.
for those schools. So, first starting with Alcorn. Alcorn is a land grant institution. So from the federal government, they get these land grant, grants to, build agricultural stuff. So like they get the USDA funding and stuff like that. So that's why you see a lot of people from Alcorn, going into agriculture, like ag economics and ag business and stuff like that, because they
Right.
have that grant for the school. So, and that's really, a strong foundation for the school. And that could become an issue because the president is cutting a lot of those funds. So hopefully they don't get their funding cut.
Donald Trump is cutting these funds. You're saying, yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the Trump administration is cutting those funds. I don't know if they got their funding cut, but I know some schools have had funding cuts. But that's pretty much what kept Alcorn solid for a long time, because I think Mississippi State is a land grant institution as well. So they get
Okay.
that federal funding as well, and they're really big in agriculture. Jackson State. So one thing about Alcorn, they're pretty much like on a reservation. Like, so there's not a lot around them, but they're standing afloat because of that strong land grant funding. For Jackson State, they're in the capital city and it's a really urban area, so it's easy for them to get funding. And
Yeah.
they've been around since 1877.
Yeah.
So they've been around, a long time as well. So they have, have that foundation. So I won't knock them. They're older than us. They have more solid foundation in their regard, being older and have those resources from the capital city. So, and I think, Mississippi Valley will get there eventually. I think we have
Yeah.
a strong young alumni coming up in that regard, and people who are passionate about giving back. I try to give back, every paycheck I have it automatically drafted out of my account, to give at least something, back to the school.
Look at you, Derrick. You're gonna be NVSU president one day. You're gonna be
Yeah,
Valley president.
I thought about that, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to get in that limelight again, because I was SJ president for a number of years,
Yeah.
and just stepping out of my shell to explore something new. But I don't know if I want to go back and be in that limelight like that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm cool with, you know, cool with the lifestyle of like the 9 to 5 and trying to
Got
like
you.
pursue entrepreneurial ventures.
Got you. I understand. I get it, bro. I get it. But I know if somebody can leave Valley a strong weight with like youth and
Yeah.
exuberance and all of that, definitely you would be the person to do that. So we okay, so we talked about that, me and you. We finished out at Mississippi Valley State. We graduate 2015. I go on to Arkansas State University for my master's program. You go on to Mississippi State University for a master's program.
Yeah.
I remember we both was in grad school calling each other because
Yeah.
like the work was getting crazy.
Grad school was a month. That first semester in grad school was crazy.
Man.
It was crazy.
So explain the difference between grad school and undergrad and getting your bachelor's degree, getting your master's degree. What was the difference in like the school setting, so on and so forth, and all of that?
So I feel the school setting was about the same as like the undergrad math department. The reason I say this is because there's not many people majoring in math on the graduate level. So my classes were still small.
Okay.
So that was a positive, similar to Mississippi Valley. Once I got to the upper level courses, it was like 3, 4, 5 people in classes, quite small. So you had that personal interaction with teacher that you needed, especially in grad school.
Right.
So it was pretty much similar in that regard, really small classes. I don't think I had any issue with the teachers. The teachers, they were great. Same vibe from Valley. Maybe on the grad level, I did notice that some undergrad teachers were like a-holes and made it hard for students.
Yeah.
But I feel that the graduate teachers, I think they did a really good job of shaping us into matriculate through, because I think they know that these grad classes are ridiculous hard. Just the nature of the beast. Like, and that first semester was crazy. I had to take like I had two core classes that I had to take a comprehensive exam in. That was applied complex variables, so it's like complex analysis, like stuff, and linear algebra, grad school linear algebra. And I had like advanced calculus or something like that as a first year grad, on top of being a TA, a teacher's assistant. So that was, I had to do 20 hours per week as a teacher assistant, and those grad school courses that are not like undergrad is much harder. So you have to study every day and be a TA every day. It was intense. But I think after that first year, I got used to that vibe and I knew how to schedule my hours, because at first I didn't schedule my hours right. I didn't schedule them right. You know, I had them all out of shape, bro. But after that first semester,
what you mean you didn't schedule it right? What you mean by that?
Right. So I think I think my first class was like at 8. You know, I like morning classes, so I did like an 8 o'clock and like a 10 and 11 back to back. So that was cool. That was cool. The issue was trying to schedule those TA hours, man, because I had to do 20. The mistake I made, this is the mistake I made that first year on Monday. So I had a Monday, Wednesday. No. I had 3 classes. So I had I think I had a 9 o'clock and an 11 o'clock on Mondays, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
Tuesday and Thursday, I had like the complex analysis at 9:45 in the morning. Right. This is the issue. This is what I messed up at. I had a lot of those TA hours like on the days I had classes. I shouldn't have done that. I should have did it when I had one class that day.
Right.
But what I did mistakenly is the men would have to close like the math tutoring lab because they didn't want women out there at night. So the math tutoring lab closed at 8. So my dumb tail gonna schedule my first tutoring hours from the afternoon 1 to 5, and I was like, okay, I'll just do 1 to 5, then come back from 7 to 8, and I scheduled it like that, and that was terrible because I went home, had to come back up there, and it's 8:30 getting out of there, and I'm have to prepare for classes the next day and do all this homework, and it just threw me off, bro. And if I could go back, I would definitely not do that again. I would try to balance it better,
For sure. I think grad school was just a lot. We learned a lot individually. I was a graduate assistant, so I was doing working, helping professors do research and looking up articles for them. Also working in the camera checkout room, and then on top of doing all this research, because it was heavy research, right? But I would say grad school was a lot more lonelier. Even though Arkansas State had a lot more resources in Valley, which was cool, the football games, all it was fire, and all the different access to all these different facilities was cool. It was just the fact that Mississippi Valley felt like home, family, and I didn't feel that until I became until I actually came Kappa Alpha Psi, and then I started knowing people, right? You know what I'm saying? But because it was this is a different environment. When you HBCU, you around all your people all the time. Then you get to PWI, you're a minority in that setting. Then you don't know nobody because you wasn't there for undergrad year. So
So luckily, Mississippi State had some people, that came from Valley. So Chartice, he was already there. So I knew him. Right. And Brandy was there. Brandy Smith from Greenwood. She got her math in math and got her PhD in statistics. So she was there. So I knew people. Then there were a few other Black people in the department, and also there were other people from Tougaloo, Alcorn, Jackson State came to grad school there, and I knew some of those people, from being SJ president. We're going to different schools and stuff, so I knew some people from those schools. And actually, my roommate was Mr. Tougaloo, which is funny. So wow, yeah, he was Mr. Tougaloo, and so and also Gerono came, so I had a lot of people already there that I knew. So I just need to just get the different cultural feel. And Mississippi State has a lot of Black students too. It's 10,000 Black students go to Mississippi State, and I think it's 22,000 students total. So it's a large Black population. And also I found a nice church up there. So I feel I really got that home feel really fast. And also, you know, I met Renee at Mississippi State.
So
So
I want to get to that point, right?
yeah, yeah.
So, all right, you get to Mississippi State, you meet Renee, who would eventually become your wife
Yeah.
at Mississippi State. Okay, how was it? Where you meet Renee at? Where you meet Renee?
At JC Penney's, out of all things. So this is, you know, I told I was working the math domain, right? Like math
Right.
tutor. I was tutoring this girl because like she just couldn't get it. She was in college algebra. And she worked at JC Penney. I went to JC Penney just to talk to her, just to hang out, talk to her. And
Right.
Renee was there. She worked with her. And like, you know, the girl was trying to play matchmaker and stuff like that. And basically that's how I got Renee's number. And after that, you know, we started talking. Hey, Malcolm, you still there? I think Malcolm cut off for a bit. He probably jumped back on.
Bad, Derek.
Yeah, I think he's on. You know. Yeah, I'm back in.
My bad.
Yeah, I'm
my
still
bad.
here. Yeah, it cut off, but I was still in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I basically met Renee. Basically met Renee at JCPenney's through a mutual friend. You know, funny thing is, I didn't even get her number at first. I got her email address, which is funny.
Wait a minute, you got the email address? Hold on.
Yeah. So this is how it happened. So the girl I was tutoring, she was a Muslim. So like they
Okay.
kind of like exchange phone numbers and stuff like that.
Oh.
So yeah, you know, it's like part of their custom, like the interaction with guys. So
She a black Muslim?
no, she was I think like Jordanian or something like that.
Oh, that explains it. I'm about to say, man, she really abiding by. Okay, yeah, they can't say
Yeah.
nothing with that. Look at you.
Yeah. So yeah, she was a sweetheart though. She was really nice. She was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
So pretty much, no, I think actually the girl emailed my number to Renee.
Oh.
Yeah. She emailed her, and then that's how we started talking. So, you know, there was like the first week in January, because I knew her from the last semester. She had passed college algebra and all that.
Okay.
I was just going to, you know, see her after the new year. And I went in JCPenney's and saw her. Yeah. I lost my train of thought where I was going next. Oh, yeah. So January when I met Renee. And then we, you know, talked for 2 months. That's because I had just got out of the relationship with,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So and we literally just broke up like a couple days before Christmas. And we still decided to spend New Year's together.
Okay.
Spent New Year's together. I stayed over her house, at her mom's house.
Okay.
And I was like, I remember getting up and saying, you know, okay, why would I playing these games? I'm just gonna, you know, we called it quits. Just move on.
Right.
So like I got up, left, you know, and then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get in a relationship. I just need to, you know, because I was in that relationship for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna jump into anything else. So I met Renee like January 10th or something like that. So I didn't like make her my girlfriend until like March or April. I think it was March 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, March 1st. So like 2 months just talking, because like I didn't want to jump into a relationship, you know, right after like a 2-year relationship.
Yeah.
So, you know, talk for a couple months. Now I was like, okay, you know, Renee's a really nice girl. You know, she got her head on straight and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, you know, I did not ask her to be my girl in March, and then you know went from there. You know,
Got you.
because I was looking for a wife. I wasn't like just you know to play around. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why like me and Renee dated from March, a year and 2 months before we got engaged. So it was like a year, 2-3 months before we got engaged.
Right.
Yeah. So
you proposed to her, right? You proposed to her. You about to graduate, right?
Yeah, at graduation.
At graduation, you proposed to your who would eventually become your wife. You proposed to your girlfriend. Graduation day. That's real, man. That's real. Yeah.
And we
so
waited a year and a half to get married after that.
Yeah. So Renee was at Mississippi State. She was majoring in nursing.
No. So Mississippi State didn't have a nursing program. So she was majoring in like biology and like with a minor in kinesiology or something like that. And then she
Okay.
went to Union University in Tennessee,
Hmm.
in Germantown, Tennessee. That's like a suburb of Memphis. So
Right.
it's Memphis through and through. But
Yeah.
she went there. It was like an accelerated program because she already had a first bachelor's degree. So it's for people who had a bachelor's degree who wanted to switch careers into nursing. And it was like a 15-month.
Okay.
Was it 15 months? It's not. It was like a year and a half. So
Right.
a little bit more than 15 months. So she did that program. Got a nursing degree, and we got married like a week after she graduated from our nursing degree.
Yeah. And so Derrick having your boy as one of the what you call it,
Groomsmen.
groomsmen in the wedding.
Yeah.
So I came from Chicago, came down there making sure I was down there representing for my boy
Oh yeah.
at the wedding. Me, Melvin, Dorian, all of us. Juan Trey, your brother, was
Yeah.
one of the groomsmen as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so we had a good time, man. Like my
Oh
boy
yeah.
Derrick, man. So yeah, so we went to the wedding and everything, and I remember that because Melvin was in Chicago at the time.
Right.
Then
Right.
drove down to Mississippi.
Oh yeah. I do remember that. I do remember that now. Yep.
Yeah. So then we came from Chicago to Mississippi. But no, man, it was a great time, just a great experience overall. So then you and Renee eventually you get a job.
Yeah. So let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
I got married in 2018 in the middle of my PhD. I graduated my PhD 2021. So, and I started the PhD January of 17. So I dual enrolled master's and PhD for that last
Mhm.
semester of my master's. So I was in the middle of my PhD when we got married, and Renee had started her career as a nurse, and I had got
Right.
that fellowship. So I forgot to mention that I got a fellowship, a National Science Foundation fellowship that paid for my PhD because, originally I was like, should I stop at the master's? But when I got that fellowship, I was like, this is a free trial. They're
Yeah.
gonna pay for it. I might as well try,
Right.
and that's pretty much what I did. Like got that fellowship, and like they paid through that PhD, and I, finished it, And at times I was going through, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna pass or not. I'm just gonna keep going until they kick me out.
Right.
But I made it through, which is a
Yeah.
blessing. But yeah, once I finished that PhD, my wife had been a nurse for like 3 years at the time. And then I got that job at Johns Hopkins, applied physics lab, a really nice financial breakthrough, coming from a grad student to like, six figures, that's a blessing for sure. Coming from Mississippi, you
Coming
never
from
seen that kind
midnight
of money.
Mississippi
Ain't seen that
to
money.
making six figures.
Yeah.
That is a humongous. That's a crazy story. That's why I really wanted you on here to talk about the journey from being in a poverty-stricken town to staying diligent in your life and goals, and then earning six figures as an adult. That's a,
Oh yeah.
that's a that's an amazing experience. You know what I mean? When you got
Oh,
that
yeah.
job offer, how did you feel?
It was actually surprising. It was surprising the number. I did not expect that number.
Okay.
First off, and like I'm just there, like I'm expecting, like I got the job offer. Now I'm excited. And
Right.
then they told me, because like once you get the offer, they were like, hey, I'm gonna have a recruiter to reach out to discuss the compensation package. And I would say Johns Hopkins, they pay really good. They pay really good. I should say the number when I started off with, but
Yeah.
but yeah. But it was a blessing going there. My wife got to work at Johns Hopkins Hospital. These are, world renowned places. Everybody know about Johns Hopkins, you know. And
So the other day we were talking about black folks, building as a community, etc. You get
uh-huh.
the John Hopkins, your wife get the John Hopkins.
Yep.
That's crazy that y'all both in the same setting and then working and y'all moving. My LB said you plan on getting married,
I was
LB.
just about to address that one. I was just about to address
Yeah,
that one.
yeah, I do, LB. I do,
Hey,
no, I do.
I'm trying to get him back with Christy.
Yeah, he is. He is. You feel me? He definitely is, LB. So yeah, I plan on getting married, bro, for sure.
Man.
But no, going to because where John Hopkins is where for
That's
everybody
in
that don't know.
so the hospital is in Baltimore, Maryland.
Right.
The physics lab is a Department of Defense like entity. The university, I mean, Johns Hopkins APL is a university affiliated research center. They get funding from the government, mostly Department of Defense, Navy work, and some health related work as well, and research and development.
Right.
And that's located in Laurel, Maryland. So that's about probably like 15 miles from Baltimore. So
Okay.
we were staying between Baltimore. We were staying between Baltimore and Laurel. So we were staying in like the suburbs of Baltimore and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So in Severn, Maryland, if you have anybody from Maryland on here. So I was over in Severn, Maryland, right by the Army base, right by the Army base. So
Right.
and my wife worked in Johns Hopkins downtown, downtown Baltimore. So
Got you. So they say, hey, Derrick, I just heard Johns Hopkins just laid off 2,000 people. I hope
yeah,
you weren't affected.
so there's three entities of Johns Hopkins that many people don't know about. The first one is the school. The school laid off 2,000 people because the research and development was cut from by President Trump. The second one is the hospital, and the third one is the defense lab, the applied physics lab. So it's three
Right.
entities, and they're totally separate. You know,
Got you.
so yeah, a lot of people don't know that. So
Yeah.
because when I say that I'm a doctor, I work at Johns Hopkins, they automatically assume that I'm a physician working at Johns
Medical
Hopkins.
doctor.
But I
Yeah.
work in defense work. So,
Right. And the defense work did not get cut.
yeah, right now. So I've been paying attention to it. Actually, they're planning to increase the Department of Defense spending. And it's
Okay.
already enormous. It's like 805 billion. So it's
Mm.
enormous. So I talked to my group soup. He said they don't expect any cuts because what we're working on is really needed. So
Right.
I don't think there'll be, many cuts and things like that. So, it's
Yeah.
just a wait and see game, because even if they cut people, if people can't do the work, they're gonna have to hire them back. So it's like, what are we doing?
Right. For sure. For sure. So y'all go to Maryland. You go out there to go work and everything. And eventually you and Renee welcome a baby girl.
Yeah.
Right?
So actually, that's funny how that happened. She was conceived in Mississippi.
Okay.
So like we planned it. So she was a plan. She wasn't like a surprise kid or anything like that. So we planned it. You're like, we'll just try. And the first time we tried, we got pregnant.
Got
So
you.
and that was like March. March we tried and got pregnant. So I was just graduating and I had got that job offer. So we were all knew we were coming to Maryland, got the job offer.
Okay.
And I'm thinking like, with this job offer, I ain't gonna have no problem in the world until you see the
Right.
Maryland bills. You see the Maryland bills, they get real. Them city bills
Hold
ain't
on.
no joke.
1 second. Chris, I appreciate the donation a lot, brother. It mean a lot to me and my family. He said, good conversation,
Yeah.
fellas. Need more of this. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I like to make the channel diverse. And so I feel like Derrick's story is really unique and very special. So I really want, especially for young black men that feel like only thing we can get out of poverty with is athletics and
Hooping
entertainment.
or rapping.
Yeah. And so I was like, man, you hear a story about like Derrick come from real poverty-stricken situation to come and getting 6 figures in life. That is crazy. Like,
Right.
and we're gonna get back to your story, but I remember when Pastor Jones, Pastor Jones took us back to Valley one day. Not Pastor Jones, I'm sorry.
Pastor Johnson.
Pastor Johnson. Pastor Johnson took us back home back to Valley from we went to go get haircut by Deke, right?
Yeah. Okay.
He took us back to Valley and he was like, Derrick does a lot for his family, man. You know what I mean? He's like, Derrick does a lot, it's a lot. I said, no, Derrick always thinking about a lot of people, because I remember me and Melvin used to be hungry as hell at Valley sometimes, some night. Derrick, the only one had a car. We like, Derrick, bro. I know it's late. Can you take us to McDonald's and go get something to eat? And Derrick could get up, take us, go get something to eat. We're like, yo, Derrick's so real for that, man.
Yeah. Hey, one thing I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention and double back. When people, when I mentioned that, I was getting all those scholarships and the SJ president like zeroed out my account. that was a blessing from God because my mama needed help. Like, because, I was able to, as a college student, with no like job, I was able to, do internships, get scholarships, and they had enough for I can actually help my mom pay bills until the next refund in the spring. So I had extra money. So being SJ president was a blessing on all fronts because, they paid for my school and I had the extra scholarships that actually could help my mom back home, pay bills. So yeah, I definitely want to add that in there. I forgot to mention it when they said I was, had a bag, it was a blessing for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's what Pastor Johnson was speaking about without saying it to us.
Yeah.
Like Derrick helped me, he do a lot for his family. He didn't go into particulars, but I think that's what he was referencing when he was saying that. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So then y'all have y'all welcome grace into the world. Now we're gonna talk about the real aspect of when you have children and child care.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, Jones, when you told me how much child care was costing
in Maryland, ridiculous.
How much were you paying in child care a month?
So it was $500 per week. So it could be from 2,000 if it's 4 weeks in a month, or if it's five weeks in a month, 2,500. So it's like another rent, another mortgage, on top of that, rent was like $2,000 as well. So we were coming out of pocket with a lot, man. Coming out of from Mississippi, with that 6-figure salary, I'm thinking like, boy, I got it made.
Right.
No,
so you saw how rent costs, how much rent was in Maryland and stuff like that compared to Mississippi. In Mississippi, what would be the rent price for like the place to equivalent of where you were living at in Maryland? How much would that have been, you think, would have cost in Mississippi?
Yeah, so back in like Bell's Only, I remember in particular, I think we were paying $400 for a single family home. I think it's like $400 in rent. It probably a little bit less. I can't remember exactly, but it was like a 3-bedroom, with a living room, 1 bathroom, kitchen, all that, and it was big enough for like me and my younger siblings, and my mom, and also my niece. She stayed with us as well, the one that passed. Right. So yeah, it was like $400, plus utilities and all that stuff. So it wasn't like crazy expensive, for a whole house,
right,
in Belzoni. Compared to Maryland, an apartment is $2,000. To rent a house is probably like $3 to $4 grand.
What, man?
Yeah, crazy expensive.
When you hear 400, I wish I was paying for, man. But man, but considering though the fact in Mississippi, because you weren't getting paid a lot of money, 400 can be a lot when you don't have a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? When you're not getting paid that well.
Yeah. Marvin said UK has got the Mississippi wages with California expenses.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's like that for a lot of people though. Like I always tell Renee, like I mentioned in the comments, like on your last live, I don't see how people are surviving, bro. Like I make good money. My wife is a nurse. She made good money. And we still feel that pressure with 1 kid. Imagine if you didn't make 6 figures, if you're a single mom in Baltimore or in Maryland in general, you got a couple kids. I don't see how people are surviving, bro. Like, with assistance, because like, we're not like living paycheck to paycheck, but I still feel that pressure. Like if I lose my job, for a couple months, we'll be in trouble, we account, but we'll be in trouble, but my wife, she works as a nurse, so it won't be enough to cover all the bills, but we can survive probably like 4 to 6 months before we have to use like credit cards.
Right.
But it can definitely come to that. And I'm just thinking, what about people who are not as fortunate, as I have been, in life in general, and people are out here struggling for sure, especially like single family. Like if you're like a single father, single mother, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to make ends meet. Tough to make ends
So,
meet.
I be thinking about this, like places like California, like Chris in LA and New York, like places like New York. Like I remember I watched Joe Budden podcast some years ago. He didn't even have a podcast this time. He was talking with his friends. He was recording it on YouTube. This like 15 years ago. He was
Mhm.
like, in New York City, you got kids. Oh man. Like most of them live in the project buildings when you
Yeah.
got kids out there. You know what I mean? Because it's just too expensive for you to be trying to live anywhere else when you got children to feed, you know? And
Mhm.
so I don't know, man. It's getting crazy out here. Cost of
Yeah.
living going up and up. The wages are
Inflation.
not changing.
Right.
Uh landlords are increasing rent. It's crazy out here. You know what I mean? So I don't know,
Yeah.
man. It's crazy
It's
time
really,
living in.
it's really tough for people, especially losing jobs. Like a lot of people are losing jobs right now.
Yeah,
They really can't make ends meet. They don't have you know, any savings. So they're either going into their retirement or running up some credit cards.
yeah. And it's getting crazy. It's getting hectic, man. But no though, but like I mentioned, you become a family man though.
Yeah.
You start your own family, you have your baby girl, your wife, and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
What was like, I guess like, did you feel the difference of head in your household? Like did you feel like well, not say the difference. I'm not gonna say the
Mhm.
difference. How did you feel like, when you got to a point where you were heading your own household, so on and so forth?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely like it was like a learning experience. Being just husband and wife without a kid is a totally different chapter than being parents. It's totally different. Going up to Maryland, a lot of transitioning from school to like the workforce. I think it got really hard, being up in Maryland for a while, you know, paying expensive rent, paying expensive childcare, and not really having much left over at the end of the day. It's like, what are you working for, basically?
Yeah.
And I was telling Renee, like, I feel like I'm getting miserable at a point. Like I don't feel happy, and I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know if it was necessarily stemming from, being a father. Maybe it was the pressure of being like a husband and a father, and like not being able to, you think you coming out of college, you think everything is good now. I got this 6-figure salary. My wife is working, got a kid. Now I feel like you're just gonna live happily ever after with the house with the picket fence. But like these bills said otherwise, dog. So like I really remember, you know, a moment where, being like really stressed out, really unhappy. I'm like, what is this stemming from? And I think it was stemming from that financial aspect of things, getting out of school. Like what I remember feeling, I remember having the feeling of, I worked this hard for so long, don't have anything to show for it type thing. I got out of
Yeah.
school making good money, but now, I want to live life. I want to buy the nice car. I want to have the nice house. I want to go on trips, do stuff like that. And I couldn't do those things. So I was feeling like incomplete, you know, I like that delayed gratification from school, like all my 20s, grad school, you know, like close to 30 before I graduated. So that delayed gratification. And then when I got out, I couldn't do those things. So I just remember feeling like I'm unhappy, miserable, and stuff like that. But I just have to really, check that and really get back to, that purpose. And I think that's one of the reasons why we moved from Maryland down to Alabama to Huntsville, because I really had that feeling like I really couldn't. So the finances were really good there, but I didn't feel like I could really like grow there at the time because it was so expensive with a new kid. The rent was high. Everything is more expensive there. Childcare
Right.
was high. My wife was also on maternity leave for a long time. So like I'm had to hold down a fort, you know. So, with the finances and all that. And it just became really hard that first year. Then it started to get better. Then the child care expenses came into it, and I just remember feeling miserable. I remember writing down, I think it's in a notepad, just writing down my thoughts of why I felt unhappy at the time. Actually, I think it's right here. Give me a second.
Okay.
I think it's in here. Oh, it ain't. I
Okay.
remember. I remember right now in the tablet of. I think I left it at work. Of
Okay.
when I felt unhappy, and I just listed these things out. You
Hmm.
know, basically feeling like, you know, I haven't accomplished anything, even though I did this amazing stuff with the PhD and masters and all that. Went through school, being a rock star and all that junk, and came out feeling like I haven't accomplished nothing.
Hmm.
Feeling like there's more to do. And I think that was just real life hitting me in the face. And I just remember feeling, like, you know, what's the purpose type thing, like of
Right.
doing all this. So, and I really feel like it got better when I came here to Maryland. I meant to Huntsville, Alabama. And switch jobs. The cost of living here is much cheaper. I'm paying 1560 here in rent. I was paying like 2200 up in Maryland. Childcare here is 320. It was 503 per week in Maryland. So it's
Right.
much cheaper. It's easy going. So it's back to what I was used to in Mississippi. So,
Right.
and I really like Maryland. I really, would like to go back up there eventually, because I really liked it. It was really nice church, really nice environment, really nice job. And I really feel that the career growth in Maryland, I think it'll be much better there than here. But the
Okay.
cost of living is so high. And that's why my wife, she's planning to go back to get her doctorate in nursing. So it's a 3-year program. She applied like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and hopefully she'll hear back by the end of this month if she got in or not, and then she'll start her PhD. And
Got you. Yeah, y'all real goal oriented
yeah,
as a married couple. Y'all try to knock down certain goals and certain tasks, one at a time. You know what I mean? Diligently trying to, okay, we're gonna do this. We all plan it out. We're gonna do this, and that's really
yeah.
how it's supposed to work.
So yeah, one of the things that we did is we created a family plan. So we
Yeah.
literally list down like our motto. So one of our mottos for the house is faith, family, and finances. I think finances, or yeah, I think it was faith, family, and finances that we wrote. And
Yeah.
that's like our motto. Then we have the Bible verses to like back those things up. And then
Yeah.
we wrote down like um our role as husband and our role as wives and our roles as parents. Actually, I don't think we wrote down the parents one yet because we did this like before Grace came.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, but so we didn't write down the parents one. Then, along with that, we also wrote down like our 3 to 5 year goals. So one of them was to start a business. So we did start the vending machine business. Finish the PhD was one of them. My wife wanted to get her certifications in nursing, so she got um, her NICU critical care certification. So she's like
Right.
certified in NICU. So she's like an expert in the NICU, and she's
Yeah.
actually at the job she's at now. She just became a lead nurse, so she can go down to like C sections and stuff like that. So she's really advancing in her career in that regard. Let's answer 9B's question. It's been on
Yeah.
the screen for a while. Yeah, let's get to that one.
So
So
I'm asking both of you gentlemen, is manhood valued by being able to fix the things that break, or being able to pay to get things fixed?
that's a good question.
Mm.
So when I read that question, I automatically thought about this gender war thing that Malcolm talked about on one of his videos a couple of days ago. These podcast guys, talking about the issues with women, and these podcast women talking about these issues with men. It's not the case, man. Because like one of the things that my wife and I did, and when we went to Maryland, even when we got married here in Mississippi, we got around couples. Like when we were up in Maryland, we got in this group called Intentional Marriage, and inside Intentional Marriage, there were like, man, I would say like 30 to 40 couples, bro. And it's like a
Hmm.
connect group, and we're like one of the youngest couples in there. Like we've been now like we've been married 6 years. It'll be 7 years in in December. I think it's 7 years or 6 years. It's one of the years, 6 or 7 years. You get mixed up, right?
Yeah.
But getting into those groups and actually see
Y'all
how
be
marriage.
7 years, I think, because the
Yeah,
wedding
yeah,
was in 2018.
yeah.
So
Okay, I
yeah,
get it mixed
yeah,
up. Yeah, but jumping into those that around people who are married and like-minded people, the stuff you hear on those podcasts, bro, like you have the issues in marriage, but when you get around people who've been married 35 years, who've been married 25, 17 years, it helps you to walk through those like nuances of marriage, those disagreements, and you're able to talk to your wife in a safe environment. That's one of the things that the intentional marriage group gave us, the ability
right,
to talk through things and build on that foundation that you have, with God and with marriage and things like that. So I would say stop listening to those guys on Instagram and all those YouTube guys that talk about bashing women and women ain't nothing or men ain't nothing or whatever like that. Stop listening to those guys. And the question you ask is manhood valued by being able to fix things? I would say a little bit of both. Like you fix the things you can fix, you know, and the things you can't fix, you just have to deal with it. And one of the
yeah,
things, like for example, the financial aspect, that's one of the leading causes of divorce in America, financial issues. So my wife and I, we have one account for everything. So all of our money from both of our paychecks go directly into one account.
okay,
Bills come out, put stuff in retirement, and that's it. We don't have an issue. We don't have an issue with like bad spending habits and things like that. Because my wife, she didn't grow up rich or anything like that as
yeah,
well. So she has a similar background story because she's from Mississippi as well. Oh, actually, she's from New Orleans. They
yeah,
came up
correct
with
that.
Hurricane Katrina. Yeah, yeah. They came up with Hurricane Katrina. Came up to Mississippi to get away from the storm. They pretty much was devastated, lost a lot of stuff, had to rebuild down in New Orleans. But her family went back. So
Yeah,
yeah, we have one account. Everything falls into that account, and all the bills are paid through that, and whatever we have left over, we negotiate. If, like for example, if she want to make a big purchase, she'll just, hey, I want to spend like $200, $300 on something. Like she just got a Kindle like last week, so for her reading, so it's like
yeah,
$200. But like I have no problem with it, as long as it's like not draining the account. We have money left over to actually pay for stuff.
yeah,
There's no issue in that regard. But
mhm.
I don't get stressed out on. Well, actually, I do. Finances stress me out a lot because I know that my wife wants things. Like she wants a house. She always send me houses. We can afford a house in Alabama, much cheaper.
Mhm.
Can't afford a house in Maryland.
Right.
So the houses are nicer here too. By the way, they're nicer.
Okay.
But she really wants a house, and like that stresses me out because I have dreams, goals, and ambitions, and money only goes so far. So
Right.
I try to balance those things and just try to build. So you have to have a woman that's understand the aspect of building. We have a solid foundation of being married, but we don't
Right.
have that. We have You have to have a woman that understand the aspect of building. We're not going to get everything at one time. And
Right.
there's a lot of stuff you see on social media. The woman say that, oh, I want you to pay for this. If you ain't paying for this, you ain't like my granddaddy or whatever. Stuff like that, or like my daddy. But you know, get you somebody that you can build with, bro. And I will say this: there are women out here. There are amazing women out here. It's not the junk you see on social media. It gives women a bad rap. The women
Yeah.
that you see on social media, the OnlyFans women, the people who are acting a fool, that's not all black women. That's not all women in
Right.
general. There are some amazing black women out here. There are some amazing women in general. And there are a lot of wife material women out here.
Yeah.
This is the issue. They also see the guys acting a fool on social media. So they automatically assume that you're going to act like the guys that you see, the Andrew Tates and all these podcasters that
Yeah.
are pretty much simps, basically the beta males. They just
Yeah.
run flock after these guys. So they think that the guys, that they see on Instagram, all guys are acting like it. So everybody got this guard up that I don't want to get played. I don't
Right.
want to. And the thing is, there's some good women out here. Just communicate. If you communicate your expectations up front, and guys, you should definitely lead with those expectations. And lead in general with the marriage, not marriage, but the relationship. So those expectations are met of who you are and where you're going, basically, in the relationship.
Yeah.
Not just those type of things where we're just gonna see where this goes. Don't
Yeah.
ever say that to a woman, bro. I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
I'm just chilling. I'm just gonna see where it goes. Don't say that.
Yeah.
Like, this is my plan. This is my
Right.
plan for this relationship. Even though you're in the courting stage, I want to see, I want to build and see where this goes. My intentions are to get married or to do
Right.
this. If you say that, it makes the relationship more rich in a sense, because you know where you're going and you know what the expectations are, going forward. So when you step to a woman, you can get to see how she is and things like that. Take on a few dates, just to get that vibe.
Mhm.
Then you can start going into those more serious conversations. And I would say, like, you don't have to be super serious the first few days. You're just going out to see if you even like this person. you know
Right.
and that's one of the issues what people talk about on social media. You got to pay $200-300 on a date. No, I don't even know if I like you. I don't know if I like you or not. Why am I paying this much on you? You know what
Man,
I mean?
there, you know how I feel about it. What you come on now. I don't
Yeah,
even right. We don't even know we collect if we connecting like that'd be $300-400 on a date. But
exactly.
I do want to tell this the guy Marvin says he was talking about when you were feeling like you were like depressed or for a minute. He
Yeah,
said the fast-paced life along with the rising cost of today's economy, unlike our parents when they work, it drains you. Don't feel bad. You did a lot achieving. You did achieve a lot coming from a small town,
yeah,
which is very true, man. I think, man, when I talk about the cost of living increasing and the pay not matching,
yeah,
it definitely get crazy. Like when MJ was first born, I already had Madison, and then when MJ came, COVID was that's when
yeah,
COVID was spreading, was
yeah,
rampant, and then Madison was virtual learning at home with me. Then I was working, and then my mom couldn't watch MJ anymore because she had started back working.
yeah.
And then like trying to parent two children at home while working at the same time and working a strenuous job had my mind all over the place. Like I was just like, yo, like I
Yeah.
was going for walks, like just going on walks just to get some air to clear my head at times. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's just it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of
Oh,
pressure because you gotta head the household. You gotta lead. And you feel like, yo, I gotta make sure my kids all right. You gotta make sure your woman okay. You
right.
gotta make sure everything is all intact. But at the same time,
Yeah. I should
you gotta
mention.
figure out how you gonna manage within all this.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Mm.
And one of the things that I was really stressed out about, it wasn't just the cost of the economy and stuff. It was the fact that I was realizing that I couldn't be as ambitious as I wanted to be. Going
Mm.
through school, I was always super ambitious in everything that I did. And now that I
Right,
have a wife and a kid, I noticed that I couldn't be as ambitious as I want to be with
right.
like with the finances or the investing and things like that, because I still have a lot of great ideas I want to do, but I can't really do because the finances aren't like there yet. But it's gonna get there eventually because I know, you know, once my daughter's out of daycare, going to school, public school or schools in general,
Yeah,
it'll be the childcare get less expensive. And
right.
also, my wife is going back to school, become a nurse practitioner. She get that doctorate
Mm.
in nursing. Her pay is going to go from like 60K to like 130, 140. So it's going to be a huge jump. And I think that's going to, make a difference. That's why she's, going back to school. So I
Yeah.
kind of got sidetracked. I think.
No. You good. You good.
Yeah.
So my line brother was saying he was catching up on one of my videos, and I was saying how like I did everything. I felt like I did everything correctly, I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, I didn't join no gangs, I didn't get tied up in crazy stuff in Chicago. I went to college, got a bachelor's degree, went to higher education, got a master's degree. and I did well in those things. You know, I did the little internships, all of that. Came out, had a decent job, and then got let go and back at square one. It's hard
Mm.
to it was I mean hard to find a job. I had all these different things that I've done correctly, and it was like, here we back at square one again.
Yeah,
And you trying to you feel like you got to prove yourself all over
exactly.
again, even to
Exactly.
get close to what you was getting.
Yeah, it's
And
like if
you like, man, it's crazy.
exactly. You going it's like you're going into a new chapter and that chapter is starting over. You writing it from scratch. You know,
Yeah,
because coming through college and stuff like that, you're solo. You don't have a wife and kids, or you know, and in your case you have two children.
yeah,
And you were Christy. And I know that was like crazy hard. You know, and you
right.
have to rewrite that chapter. You getting out of school, COVID hit. You're doing the remote stuff, and then they start on the layoffs when the inflation stuff hit. So it's like your chapter is being written again. You have to, start from scratch again to build up. And one of the quotes that my boy Kobe said that I always stick with is one of the profound quotes.
What do you think?
He said, people say, I put all my eggs in one basket. you
Mm-hmm.
know, and people was like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And one thing Kobe said was when somebody say, don't put all your eggs in one basket, he was like, I can put all my eggs in one basket. I'll just go get more eggs. And I was like, dang. So
Yeah,
that's one of the things you got, think about. Like,
yeah,
we hustled in one aspect, going to college, hustling through that. You know, you can still do those things. Like you're doing the hustle on YouTube, and I
me
think it's
too.
great what you're doing. You up to like 16,000 subscribers. That's an amazing feat, and I like commend you for it. Like you step
Appreciate it,
into
bro.
a new avenue from you pivot from the contracting work. Pivot to what you always wanted to do anyway is talk
Yeah,
shows and communication related job and things like that. So I think you're in your area, because what
yeah.
you're doing is totally different from communication. You always want to get back
Mm-hmm.
to this area. So, it's a transition process, but it's right where God wants you to be. So,
Nah, for real, I need to hear that, bro. Like,
mm.
when I got laid off, that was a depressing time for me. Like,
Oh
bro,
yeah,
like,
oh yeah. I
what?
remember.
Like, what is
Yeah,
on? What I'm now? What I gotta do? I got two children to feed. You know what I mean? I gotta figure this out. I gotta pay
mhm.
rent.
And I
All of
remember
that.
you like lost some of your hair or something like that for that.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Stressing, bro.
yeah,
Stressing.
like
Like
hair
trying to,
fall and stuff. Yeah,
trying to figure stuff out. And it was like, man, like I remember, bro. It was so many points. Like, we're not gonna make this like a down depressed video, but it's just real
yeah,
life. Like I remember at one point, bro. When I was working that job, this when MJ was like in the months. He was like months, like he wasn't even a year old yet.
yeah,
Madison was virtual learning. My boss came and told me, like, I wasn't. It was some stuff that I wasn't doing certain things or clearing certain stuff on a certain timely manner. But that was because I was at home parenting.
yeah.
And we didn't have no babysitter. My family work. Like we
Right,
ain't, you get them aunties that ain't working. Like everybody working. So I
right,
don't have no person to watch my child. We wasn't sending MJ to no daycare, and he little bitty like that, and
right. And COVID is
COVID
out.
is rampant. No,
Yeah,
so he was like, yeah, I understand, man. Sometimes you just gotta go in the room and close the door. I'm like, close the door on who? I got an infant child. What you talking about? It's like
exactly.
what? And so then I remember they had put me on probation at the job. Like it was like a 30-day probation period. It was back in 2021. I got
Yeah,
out of it and I
yeah,
did great and excelled out of it. But I remember like sitting in myself and was like, man, like how you get on probation, or no, you probably don't know, but like when
yeah,
you did something wrong,
right.
and the person is telling you what you did wrong, and you try to come out really apologetic and all that. Oh, I'm so sorry, man, Derrick. That shit was gone. I was just like, okay, all right. And I was just like, I know what I got to do. Let me just lock in. I locked in, but I still had to parent and all that at the same time. And then
Yeah,
I got out of it. You feel me? And was doing great. I did great. And then I got put on another program to help them out. Did great. All of that. Dug myself out of that hole to years later. You getting laid off and stuff like that. And
yeah,
that's when I really felt like we used to talk about needing multiple streams of income.
Yeah, I
I
think
was
that's
like,
one of the things we talked about on the phone, like yesterday, the
yep,
day before yesterday.
yep.
Yeah,
And I was like, man, I always wanted to do my YouTube thing, and I don't know, God have a mysterious ways of like getting you to like be more serious about stuff. Before I got laid off, I maybe had like 8,000 subscribers, maybe
yeah,
7,000, 8,000, and then in a matter of like less than a year, I shot that up to 16,000 just because I was every day making
exactly.
content diligently, pouring myself into it, pouring myself into it. So yeah, man. He said if I ever have to whoop Madison. You know what? No, it's so crazy, bro. I probably did it like once or twice. Only be no what I felt so guilty because one, she's a girl, and then
Yeah.
I was in school for a lot of the years she was coming up. So
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah,
like so when I came home and was with her full time after I graduated from grad school, I was like, man, I gotta really like. Of course, I knew my child, but when you're not there 24, I was in school for most. I was coming home for them breaks, so I like, man, I kind of felt like I was like, man, I want to be able to like. You're not a good cop back. I couldn't do that, but her mama is a strong disciplinarian. Her mother do not
yeah,
play. You know what I mean? So she come to me, she come to my house, she would give a bit more, a little freedom, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I would say Madison is a good child though. Very smart. You know what I mean? You got to check her every now and then, like you
yeah,
do with all kids. But she's a good child though, so I really didn't have to do that per se. Really, probably once a couple of times she might have got out of pocket a little bit, but yeah. But when I came home, she was just happy I was home 24/7 because she
yeah,
wasn't used to me being home year round. I was always coming home on breaks and all that type of stuff. So yeah, now it's so crazy because they just went to my mama house earlier, and I'm first of all I'm so glad they got that age gap because she could help me out with a lot of different things.
for sure, for sure.
Man, boy, if they were about the same age, I'd have been in trouble around here. You know what I mean?
No, one is a handful because
What
Gracie
you already know,
is
man. So yeah, but nah, man, Madison is a good child though. Always been, I call her Lulu from Lulu Valentine character on Ready to Rumble boxing game.
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, man, she's a good child. So I don't really gotta do nothing like that. She's very, very smart. So everything all good, man. But nah, bro. But for real, that whole aspect, that whole time losing a job, first trying to prove yourself, then losing a job, it was pretty crazy. But one thing I learned about it through it all is that I don't know, man. Like I had to really when I lost that job, I'm like, man, I'm passionate about this YouTube thing. Let me tell you, like I had y'all telling me, man, maybe this something that you could consider doing at some point full
yeah,
time. I just poured myself into it all the way, man. But so let me get back to you, because I done had you on here for much longer than what we anticipated
yeah.
being on. Yeah, but
It's cool. It's cool.
then at some point though, recently when you moved back to Alabama,
Yeah,
you had lost your mother.
yeah. That's one of the reasons why we moved back, just to be closer. So she got diagnosed with leukemia August of 2023. Yeah,
Mm,
August of 2023. So, going back and forth. And she went to the hospital and she was in the hospital for 45 days, the initial chemo and stuff like that. So I
mm,
remember coming down, had to come from Maryland, fly down. And that could be some part of my stress as well, moving so far away, trying to manage life, then, families getting older, parents getting sick and stuff like that.
right.
So that's one of the reasons we moved back down here to Alabama. So Huntsville is on like five hours from my hometown. So I was able to go back, spend time with her and stuff like that. And I'm glad we did move down because, I got to spend like almost every weekend with her once I moved down here. You
Yeah.
know, and then she was cancer free, from like September of 23 until like July of 24, and that's when it came back the second time.
Hmm.
Right after her birthday, because her birthday is June 28th. She got the diagnosis like July 3rd or something like that, July 3rd that week.
Hmm.
So right after her 67th birthday. And then,
Mm.
they did another round of chemo, but they couldn't give it as strong as the first one because basically what chemotherapy do is wipe out your immune system, and
Right.
they pretty much do the same thing again, re-wipe it out. But the leukemia was aggressive, so it pretty much like settled down for a few more months. Then so July, August, September. So July she did the chemotherapy. Then August, September. So late, I think mid August or something like that, it came back, and that was the third time basically. And pretty much the doctors say they can't do any more chemotherapy because basically the chemotherapy will basically kill her because it'll just be too much on her body, like back to back rate chemotherapy and stuff like that.
Mm.
So they pretty much like said nothing else they can do. Pretty much put her on hospice and things like that. But yeah, I'm definitely glad I had the opportunity to move back and just spend every like weekend with her, coming back and forth from work and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But and I think that helped with the transition process. Like I wasn't like really like hurt or anything like that. Like, of course, you hurt, it's your parent, but it wasn't like that sudden death where you don't have time to have closure. So I
Hmm.
really feel like I got that closure, and that it helps with that, it helped with the transition. It
Yeah.
wasn't like really torn up or anything like that. So, that was a blessing. And she said she was at peace with it. When the doctors told her that she was, they couldn't do anything else. She was at peace with it, and she's like, if it's her time, it's her time. You
Yeah.
know, and she lived through September, and like she was on hospice. No. So she got that last diagnosis in September, I think,
Uh.
when they said they couldn't do anything else. And so with leukemia, it makes your blood cells rapidly increase. So it
Right.
makes your heart work harder. So she only lived a few weeks after that last diagnosis, after that last blood transfusion. So I remember her going to the doctor like a Thursday, a Wednesday or a Thursday, because her blood was really low and they couldn't do anything else for her. So I remember her giving her another blood transfusion. Then 4 days later, after that blood transfusion, the the cells multiply increasing, her blood getting thicker, making her heart work harder. Like so, 4 days after that, she's on hospice. She passed, because
Mm.
pretty much her heart couldn't handle that, the thickness of the blood because it was multiplying so fast.
Gotcha.
But she was at peace with it, with the situation, and I think the family was at peace. They weren't ready for her to go. She was 67, so still relatively young as a
Yeah,
parent.
for sure.
You know? So yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons we moved back here, and I'm definitely glad that we did. Just to
Y'all moved there what? 2024, right?
we moved May of 2024. So
Right.
as soon as we moved
Okay.
down, we got to spend a lot of time with her then, and then
Gotcha. She got to be around Grace and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of pictures. We got to we had our birthday party for her 67th birthday, and like the family was there and stuff like that. We got to take a lot of pictures. Just
Right.
had one of those good positive days, after like all the struggling with chemotherapy and stuff.
Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I always speak about this, man. I always I feel for y'all who lost your parents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. Like, so my line brother in here, he lost his mom right before
Yeah.
we started actually, becoming brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi. He lost his mom.
Yeah.
You know
Sorry
what
to
I
hear that,
mean?
man. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, man. And I believe my LB, his mother wasn't even 40 years old yet. I
Yeah, he
believe.
said a hysterectomy, which is
Yeah.
like a common procedure. Like it's crazy how things can go wrong like that.
Hmm.
You know, you know.
Yeah,
Sorry,
man.
definitely sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Um,
so yeah, and losing your mom or your parents in general, but I would say a lot of black men have a certain bond with their mothers. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Especially if you're being raised by your mom, she's a single mom, or in general, mom have a different type of nurturing that they give to the child. So I
Yeah.
think that really it hurt in a different way. Yeah, she said she wasn't even 40
Wasn't
years
40.
old yet.
Wasn't
You
40 yet.
know? Yeah, and so that is a hurtful thing. You know what I mean? It's a hurtful thing, man. But honestly, I'm glad you had the support of your people. your wife, your family, and stuff like that. That type, because that matters 100%. You know what I mean? Like when your father passed away, was that sudden? No, you know, you said he had.
It was lung cancer. So both of my parents had some form of cancer, lung cancer. You know,
Right,
because my daddy smoked and he was worked on a farm dealing with a lot of chemicals, and my mom was leukemia.
right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
so yeah, it neither one was like sudden, but like going through that as a child, you know, you never know how to navigate it. And they caught his at a late stage too, so
Hmm.
it was about the size of a grapefruit at the time they found it, so it wasn't much they could do.
Right,
Uh,
right.
so
Yeah.
not be said Einstein or Tesla. Man, that's a tough one. I would say Tesla because Tesla. Well, I would say Tesla. Tesla was very very innovative in what
Hmm.
he did, and he wasn't looking for any money. Most of his inventions were stolen by Edison. Like a lot of his inventions were stolen. So
Hmm.
he was genius in electricity, electrical work and stuff like that.
Right.
But Einstein, you know, he was a heavy hitter too, man. You know, the
Yeah.
stuff relativity, you know, the atomic bomb, the nuclear fission stuff, you know.
Hmm.
But I would say like both of them are unique, but I think Tesla has a unique story. So I
Right.
would, yeah, say him.
So, Derek, for them atomic bombs and stuff, it takes a mathematician to do those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't never worked on stuff like that. I don't work on stuff like that, man. I have worked on like
Hey, what's the radius of that?
man, it's all types. So there's all types of like bombs. Like those funny thing is those atomic bombs are the one that was exploded. Those are some of the smaller ones compared to what we have now. Like some of the stuff we have now is ridiculous.
Hiroshima. You saying that?
Hiroshima and Nagasaki, those are way smaller compared
Right.
to what we have in the like countries having the arsenal now. So
And
like
how I wonder, how can I remember how far did that bomb
I can't remember the blast radius, but you don't want to be anywhere close to it.
I know
Like
people that was like, because the people that were even close had like what you call it, radiation type effect and all that.
yeah, yeah. So the technology now with the radiation, they can contain it. It can
Okay.
contain. So like the Hiroshima Nagasaki stuff, like it was just widespread. But now they
Yeah.
have like you can set off a nuke and contain it because they do nuclear tests and stuff from time to
Yeah.
time. But yeah,
Agent Orange. Yes.
yeah. I don't know if that's nuclear stuff, but I knew some people from the Vietnam War that because Renee granddad had an issue with the Agent Orange stuff. They got on his skin and stuff, and he like caused like huge eczema spots on his arm and stuff like that.
For real.
Yeah.
I got to get Renee up on here, man.
So,
Cause you know, I'm gonna be real, bro. Like when we was a kid, you know, I didn't understand how devastating Hurricane Katrina was till I got a little older. Like when I was in
yeah.
high school. When it happened initially, you know, you hearing you don't really. We were young, so I really didn't We got to high school, and I watched like when
You
the
saw
levees broke and all
pictures?
of that.
Yeah. See the
What?
pictures? Yeah, it was tough, man.
I wanted
People,
to cry watching that. Like
yeah,
what?
man, it was people like bodies floating in the water, houses underwater, you know, alligators eating like human remains.
Yeah,
People in the Superdome like getting sexually assaulted.
salted.
You know,
Yeah, all of
it was
that.
crazy. It was crazy, bro.
I got to get Renee on here to talk about like just her moving from New Orleans during Katrina
Yeah,
and like what her family was feeling during that time period. Cause like
yeah,
that was black people got man devastated from that.
for sure.
In the worst way, he said my freshman roommate was from Katrina. He was in Katrina. Wow, yeah, see, a lot of
Yeah,
black folks relocated a lot of different places during Katrina time and all of that, man. But yeah, man, like I said, I know I ain't gonna hold you long. Like I say, I gotta get Derrick on, talk about sports too. Derrick is a big sports fanatic like myself.
oh
He
yeah,
loves
oh yeah.
NBA basketball, so me and him had to start coming out here. Man, I don't know, I might start a channel, another
Yeah,
channel.
yeah, we talked about that last night. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I'm a data scientist, so I was like, we could do some sports and data analytics stuff. You know,
yeah. I might have
yeah,
to start a channel with you and
yeah,
Melvin, a separate
yeah,
channel too, just specifically for the sports takes. and stuff
Right.
like that. You know, during games, after games, all that type of stuff. So we could just go and make that type of content, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, look, you know, I appreciate Derrick. I appreciate you getting on, sharing your
No
story with
problem.
everybody.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm glad to share, man. It was a long time coming. I know you asked me like a few weeks, probably a few months ago, to come on. So we
yeah.
never got around to it. So I'm glad we finally got around to do it.
Oh yeah, man. Everything happened in the right timing, bro. Everything happened in the right timing, man. But yeah, man, it's all love, man. Like I say, anytime, shoot, well, you want to be on, you be on, or we can start that other channel too. But like I said, I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody that came on asking questions and was
Oh
active
yeah,
in the chat.
for
So
sure.
that
Yeah,
definitely mean a lot to me.
thanks, Marvin. Definitely appreciate it, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. So, but yeah, man, but Derrick, man, like I say, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna let you go. But I appreciate you, bro.
All right. Thanks for the opportunity to be put on the channel and get some spotlight, man. Definitely
Oh,
appreciate
for
it.
sure. All love, bro. All right, y'all. Chat. I'm gonna holler at y'all later.
All right. Take
I'm gonna
care.
holler at Derrick later too. I'm gonna holler at y'all.
All
All
right.
right. Peace.